Hi everybody, my name is Mweneni and welcome to Balcony Chat, the first episode of Balcony Chat actually under the umbrella of Heno Art House. Balcony Chat, that's where you get to meet all my favorite people in Windhoek and around the country from the art sector and also from politics and fashion and all the goodies that I enjoy, and I hope you come along to experience with me. So before I waste any more of your time, I would like to meet you, to introduce you to my first guest, Nuyoma. So Nuyoma, welcome to Balcony Chat and thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. You?
And I'm all right. And this whole COVID thing, how are you handling that? As an artist and so forth.
I'm numb.
You're numb?
I don't think about it anymore.
You don't
because I think it drives you crazy.
So, and how have you been kind of taking care of yourself through this whole crazy episodes?
Just doing the walk of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I was trying to come up with the first guest for Balcony Chat, I was thinking, who should I ask? Because there are so many interesting people in our city and in our country. But somehow, you always pop up in my head. I think every person in Windhoek, especially in Windhoek, knows who you are, but nobody really knows who you are. So I'm really, really curious to know, Nuyoma, what is this all about? Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Windhoek, and then I spent some years living with my grandmother in the north.
Okay.
And then I returned back, and now we're here.
So if you don't mind me asking, so when were you born? Which year was that? So
I was born in 1987.
87. Okay. Yeah, still.
Long
You're younger than
time
me.
ago.
I'm way older than that. So you grew up in Windhoek, but then you ended up in the north.
Yeah. Partially in the north, partially here, but I think the best time, the times when that period where you're really working on yourself and you're building your identity, that happened here.
Oh, okay.
For me, the north was like a blur.
It was a blur, so you don't remember that?
Yeah, I do remember, but it's just, it was a blur. It was, I don't know. I think when you are somewhere, but you wish you were somewhere else.
Yeah.
You just kind of blur everything out.
Yeah. And your parents, so you lived with your parents also in the north, or did you live with parents in Windhoek?
No, I lived with my grandmother in the north.
Yeah.
I've never stayed with my parents. I stayed with my aunt.
And why not? Where were your parents?
My parents were always away. Like my mom was staying, she was a nurse, so she was staying at the apartment there at the hospital.
Okay. And your dad?
My dad was just freelancing, didn't really have a fixed job.
Yeah.
So he was in and out here around like Windhoek and then Cumberland. I think he was also in Walfish Bay or something.
Yeah. So the main person that shaped you as an adult was your grandparents then?
Definitely my grandmother.
Your grandmother?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were very close to her?
Very much. Very, very much.
You know, this is, to change the topic a little bit, is that you are known as somebody that nobody understands. Everybody sees, but nobody understands. And through my research on you, we met a couple of times before we decided to sit down here. You describe yourself as a punk rocker. You are also a skater. You are a photographer. You are an artist, all-rounded artist. So where is this coming from, especially the punk rock part? Where is that coming from? From a Katutura black boy, and all the music that you end up performing is punk rock.
I have always lived inside my head, and I think I still remember when I firstly started getting into skating, going skating first times. I really didn't really understand why the other skaters were dominantly white.
Yeah.
Why I was treated differently, because for me I thought like when I was growing up, it's like if I see it and I want to get into it, I'll get into it. There's no gatekeeper. But then I got to realize that there are certain things that black people do and there are things that white people do, and then you have the keys.
Like what type of
you are locked in and you can't explore outside, otherwise people will call you names and all that kind of stuff.
Is that the experience that you've experienced?
Definitely.
Like in what way? Like
I think it's like very interesting for me, because I was always staying in Eros with my aunt in around town area, so I picked up. I was never really a part of like say surrounding. A lot of people pick up on that. If you say you growing up in Dolam, for example, you start picking up things that the people there are doing, and then therefore you become a part of it. And I've always been, I think, outside, so I was able to shape my reality, to cherry pick from outside and not just to dive in what's already there.
That is actually very brave and very scary, and it must be very lonely as well to be you.
Very much. It is very lonely.
What is the misconception about you? Because everybody has their own story when they look at you. Some people might think that you are some evil person because you've got all these piercings, all these nose rings and everything, the green hair, and just the whole persona. Some people think that you are this artist, and some people maybe just don't understand you. What do you want people to think maybe when they look at you or they hear your music?
I just want people to be curious, and to just be curious and to ask questions, and to not have not a lot of people in my community, especially like the Nashvambo culture, is like we are so much into superstition. We have what's that word? Theory.
You can say it in
what do you call this? Like if somebody comes up like, oh, there are people who just moved in our neighborhood and their plan is this, but it's just something that you're building up with. Conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theories?
Yeah. So they see you, and they would write a whole essay about you, but they've never spoken to you. You know, there are just a lot of people spreading all these stories that they made up themselves, and then they circulate. So if people are open-minded, then they will ask you, oh, what's this, man? You know.
So you are very open-minded enough that if you're walking somewhere and somebody's polite enough to approach you and ask you a question, you are open enough to talk to them. They shouldn't be kind of terrified of you. Or is that what you're saying?
Definitely. I am always grateful when I'm given that chance, because people don't give you that chance.
Yeah.
They just cave in when they see you.
Yeah.
So you become the. It's really interesting that when I was a child, we were told this whole thing of like, don't talk to strangers. And then there was in the book there was always this image of the stranger, but like a silhouette image. And I was always wondering, like, who is this stranger? What is this? And then now, when I got older, I slowly pick up that I am basically that stranger. You know, don't talk to that guy. He's bad news. And there's already a lot of people that think I'm like a bad influence. But I never push ideas onto people. If somebody like something that I like, I am not here to kind of like, you know,
convert force people. Talking of like, I know that your photography is very well liked, because a couple of weeks ago you exhibited, I think, in Germany.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. How was that? How did you end up exhibiting in Germany, and what type of work did you showcase?
So I was over at the friend's place, and then they have this lounge.
Wait, in
It's
Windhoek?
in Bonn,
In
Germany.
Bonn? Okay.
And then they had this lounge, really big place, and they have
Sorry,
some.
this year still, or
Yeah,
okay.
it was this year.
Okay.
And they have some. The boyfriend now of the girl, he makes some work, so they have some of these pieces on the wall.
Yes.
So I made this joke like, oh, I should exhibit here, and then she said, why not do it? And then tomorrow she also wrote me like, hey, let's do that. And then I was motivated, and we did it. It was all DIY, and just we invited people, and people came, and they invited some people, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah. So you most of your photography that you do is mostly based on what are your subjects? What inspires you when you do your photography?
I think my photography at the moment is very ambient. It's just feelings. But I think if a person is not able to go into that place, they would not really understand. A friend of mine says, oh, yeah, your work, like he was comparing my work with somebody else, and he says, oh, your work is almost the same, it's only that your work is empty, because there's nothing, there's no person in the image. So it's just, I'm not trying to portray something. I am basically, it's like medicine. When I'm in a certain place, I take certain images,
yes,
and this is how this is medicament for me.
Yeah.
So maybe it may not be easy for other people to relate, because my images are mostly taken in Windhoek. They definitely tell a different story that I think the kind that you've been sold about Windhoek. I'm mostly walking, so my shots are from like those routes when I'm walking, and most of people in Windhoek, they don't walk.
Yeah.
They drive, so they don't really see what I see, and therefore it's not really as attractive as what's
people sometimes assume.
What's in CBD or stuff like that.
So I think then Windhoek basically for you is your office. That's where if you have to create, you are inspired by Windhoek. All your artwork
definitely.
and all your music and everything is Windhoek.
Yeah.
Tell me about the song Ndapona Uyuni. Ndapona Uyuni. Tell me about that. I actually like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Well, the thing is, I have always really, like I said, I live in my head. So like I live here, but I don't really connect. I feel like there's no representation of me in the city. Therefore, it's like, who am I here, you know? And that kind of stuff really messes with you. But then people always like this. There's one friend who was always telling me that, oh, you always have a choice. But back then I was like, no, that does not make sense. You can't say that people who are in situations where they're like in a really messy situation, you can't tell me that they have a choice. And slowly I'm picking up on it, that when you're in a dark place, you could use that darkness to get yourself out of the darkness. But we like to think that, oh, I'm stuck here, I just need to get out. Like just magically like that, from here to there. And it doesn't work like that. You could use where you're at to get somewhere. It's not just, there's a process between. So with my work is my way of parting with that pain, but then transforming that negative energy into positive energy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like to think that aggressive music, this heavy metal and punk, that it's they like to think that, oh, it's so
heavy,
negative or anything.
Yeah, because usually you don't understand what the people are saying, and it's just kind of distortion of sounds.
Yeah.
So it's kind of very difficult. It's not like something that you can groove to or do the vocals and things like that. It's like, how am I supposed to digest this music? Yeah, I think that's where the confusion comes in also.
Of course there's negativity in it, but that's like the ingredient to it. But the whole once the song is done, once the performance is done, then you have love. because these guys, they really love what they do. We love what we do, even though like I'm on stage angry.
Yes.
I love that,
Mm.
but I'm not doing it. I'm not pushing negativity.
Yeah.
I'm more showing you that I'm here, and I'm voicing it out.
Yeah.
Um,
So this pain that you're talking about, let's explore that a bit. What type of pain are you talking about?
See, the thing, I'm an emotional person.
Mm.
I think a lot of people cannot relate to that because I think the majority of the people aren't really super emotional. Like being emotional, it means that you see a situation where you aren't in, but you are able to feel it, and you feel like you want to help. And I think a lot of artists are emotional beings because they are diving into a situation. Ordinary people don't dive so much into a situation. They will talk about corruption on their way to work,
Yes.
and then they go to work and they forget about it.
Yes.
But the artist thinks about that. So if they've gone through some kind of abuse, it always pops up.
Mm.
And for me, that's where I am. And growing up, suffered like physical and verbal abuse.
From your grandmother?
No, for like it's more like a family thing. You know how
Okay.
violence is.
Yeah.
Like I feed it to you, and you feed it to the next person. Like crush what's weak.
Mm.
So it's like that. And even though people in my family are not on the same route as me, that's because we are different. But for me, I somehow cannot easily suppress that feeling and say, oh,
They are
just
now.
yeah. But most people do that. You just shut it out. But later it's going to come. That's why for me, I would rather deal with it now, and heal myself in the process.
Yeah.
A lot of people shut it down, but it's going to come out. It's not. You're not going to survive it.
Mm.
It's going to come out. It's either you pass it on, you hit, or you swear
You
to
hit
the next
the
person.
next generation.
Yeah.
The next generation, yes.
Otherwise, you need some kind of release, basically.
So your art, your music, your skateboard, your photography, is that your release?
Yeah, definitely. I remember when I started this DefeatHate, which is like where I do my photography, DefeatHate DIY.
Yeah.
So it's basically putting together two words,
Yeah.
and it becomes one, DefeatHate.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something with the word love in it, but I felt like it was cheap.
Yeah.
So I wanted to use
Yeah.
the word hate, but in a position where it's more about love.
Yeah.
And I remember when I started that, I was in a place where I was really like in a really dark space, and I would explode, and I don't
You don't
want.
want to have to go back there.
Yeah,
So-
I don't want to fight fire with fire.
Hmm. Can I ask a very controversial question? And please just shut me up if you think I've gone too far. Are you a Satanist?
Well, that's a really interesting question, because I think most Namibians believe that I am.
Yeah.
Fear of the unknown. But for me, it's really plain and simple. That I feel like, so you have this fat book that everybody live by, and then it's as a story, and there are characters in it, and those characters are real for the one that live by the book.
Yes.
But somehow they always put people who aren't living by this book into this story. That, oh, if you are not down with God, then you're probably down with Satan.
Satan, yes.
But the thing is that I am not interested. I'm not a part of that story.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in the book. So how can I be a slave to a character from that book?
Yeah.
If I don't believe in God,
Yeah.
why would I be believing in Satan? Because
Yes.
for me, this is almost one guy. It's like the alter ego of the,
Of
you
the
know,
other.
they cannot exist without.
Oh my
you know?
goodness, Windhoek is gonna go crazy. The whole country is going to blow up after this. So you don't have any type of, you must have a type of philosophy that you live, a code that you live by.
Yeah, of course.
What is it?
No gods, no masters.
No gods, no masters.
Mm-mm.
Simple, just like that.
Yeah.
You're an atheist.
I would say I'm more agnostic.
Agnostic. Ah,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
that I just believe that it cannot be proven.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is quite interesting because when I decided to, I spoke to some people. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be interviewing Nuyoma, and they're like, nobody knows the name. But then I said, oh, this guy and this guy. So everybody kind of, yes, oh, that guy. I'm not a Satan boy that you know. So that's why I said I will do everybody wrong if I don't ask this question. So yeah, what's up? What's next? What's happening?
See,
What are you doing?
Let me add something to that.
Yeah.
I like this quote. It's from one of my favorite movies, where the lady says, she was the art teacher in this movie, and then she says, we must encourage discussion instead of censorship.
Yeah.
I really wish people could do that. Instead of jumping to conclusion, they must engage and say, are you this? Because when now they're just making up rumors, and then small town, village,
yeah.
it's just passing on.
Yeah.
But when we engage with a person, then we will get an insight about what this person is about. We must give people a chance to explain themselves.
Yes.
And by doing that, we're also encouraging like diversity and what is the word, when people are really truly being themselves without feeling that
free.
Yeah.
Free, simply
like
free.
life as a safe space. Like if I want to wear a skirt or I want to wear a dress, I should wear it and go out to a bar where you are also there, very conservative as you are, I mean, for your life.
Yes.
But then it should not, your views and your concept of how everything should be should not be mirrored on other people. Because by the person doing that, they're not hurting you. Maybe they're hurting your code, but I'm not playing in the field with you.
Yeah.
So people should also be free to just do their own thing without people say, oh, you're Satanist, or you're what. Because when we don't understand, we are always quick to say, oh, I think this is what's happening.
This, yeah.
But you know, the thing with rumors or gossips is like, if I say, I think she was drinking gin, the next person who's going to receive that information is going to extend it to make it more interested.
Absolutely.
And before you know it, you have a whole book. And that's a dangerous part.
Yeah. You know, when I came to your place earlier today, I saw in your room, that's where you do your rehearsals. Is there a huge punk rock community in Namibia or in Windhoek in general? And if there is, I'm sure there might be some people that are also interested in the music, just the definite music. Maybe there's another child somewhere in Katutura as well that is looking for his tribe, which is you. How can people find you? What is next? What's happening in your life through your music and everything else? Or where can people find you? Yeah.
One of my main music project is called Segregated Existence. This is like a name that have same meaning, but like it applies to two different situations. Segregated existence for me speaks of, say, Windhoek.
Yeah.
It's a very segregated city.
You would
but
know.
We're not
You've
talking
walked
about that.
every corner of this city, so you would know.
See, you have a setting which is coming from those days, which we are still maintaining today, where you have the rich area, and then you have town central.
Yeah.
And then you have the middle, which is like your Windhoek Western, and then you have the township.
Yeah.
It's very segregated. Maybe by the way it looks okay, but this is also it also means that we don't know anything about each other because everybody stay in their little corner.
Walls, in their little bubbles.
Are you poor? You live where the poor people are. Are you in the middle? You live there. Are you rich? And you see that the city is right in the middle, and then it gets rich here. So we don't really know anything about each other. And I've always heard this when I'm hanging with like my friends who live like uptown. They're always having this stories about how Karitura, I heard they do this, I heard they do that. So with this segregated existence, so it means that, it's talking about that, but it's also talking about where I am. I'm basically homeless in the city. I don't have people that like what I like. I don't also have people that will consume what I am creating. So that really messes with you. It's like
yeah, so going
Yeah,
back to
but
my
if-
question,
if-
where can, like somebody, if they want you, they want to experience your art, they want to experience your music, where can they go?
I have a YouTube channel,
Okay.
which is DefeatHate DIY.
Okay.
And I also have an Instagram account, which is Voice of Discontent.
Okay.
Windhoek.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you looking? What is next then for your art, for your any type of projects that you have? What do you have? Maybe some work that is upcoming, or we don't know who's watching. Maybe there's somebody out there watching and they find your story fascinating. I find it fascinating. I find it inspiring. You are very brave.
Thank you.
Very, very brave to decide to just be unapologetically you in all these stares and all these eyes looking at you, but you just yourself, you decide this is who I am and I'm going to be who I am, and you do it with a beautiful heart, very kind, soft-spoken.
It's unfortunate that a lot of people think that I want to be someone else.
I don't think so.
People think that I want to be white, but the thing is that. But do people know who I am? Why would I want to be white when I can be Vilho?
Yeah.
Why would I change that? You know?
Yeah. I spent some time with you. I've listened to you, and you are as black as they come, my brother. And you are amazing. You are a legend. You are a trailblazer. And I foresee good things happening to you in the future. I foresee it. And you will deserve every bit of success that is coming to you. And thank you so much for being my first guest on Balcony Chat. Thank you so much. You took a chance on me. So, guys, that's it. We're done. First episode in the can. Subscribe, like, comment, everything. And found me on TikTok, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't know yet. I'm trying to see Facebook. Maybe by the end of this, I would have a Facebook account, but I don't know. So, see ya.